Thank you all for coming, taking your time out, beautiful day. But I wonder the following. If Ronald Reagan was in office right now, would you be here right now? No. You'd be home, you'd be relaxing, spending time with your family. But you realize that now, more than ever, that this time in history we're faced with more uncertainties about the future than we've ever faced before. Whether it be a weakened economy, lack of job creation, healthcare reform, Social Security that probably will go bankrupt in your lifetime, and illegal immigration, and a weakening national defense. These things, you've maybe heard about them in history before, but now it really is become a crisis. And we all have to get up and say to ourselves that there is a sense of urgency. Because this year, 2010, is extremely important. If we don't take this seriously, and we don't register, we don't get out to vote, we don't stand behind moderate and conservative principles, we're finished as a nation. Although I do think that no administration is big enough, whether it be this administration or another, to pull down a great country. We have people that want to work hard. People understand that life is more than just making for yourself, but actually giving back to other people. That doesn't mean redistribution. That means creating an environment that is good for others, whether it be as a storekeeper or someone who starts a small business or an entrepreneur. They create jobs, so they benefit themselves and they benefit others. Now you might think, how is it that now we have all these problems and uncertainties? How is it that all our members of the government, the Senate and Congress and the administration, why is it that they've become so out of touch? Why is it they're such elitists? What has happened? Well, I think what happens is the following. When you stand up and you clap for me, I should be clapping for you. Because I'm here to serve you. It's not about you making me feel good about myself. If it's a rally call to get us all excited, that's great. I'll accept it. But what happens is that you get a pack of wild dogs. Call them monsters, call them animals, whatever you might want to call them. But they run around Washington, they have no restraints on them. And it's your job as voters and concerned Americans to throw a leash around their neck, pull them back, rein in the wild pack of dogs. Because all they'll do is enrich their own personal fortunes and leave you with less. They don't care that they voted for a 4% increase in their congressional pay. Who received Social Security here? Did you get a cost of living adjustment this year? No. And Congress got 4%. Do you notice that things in the store cost more? When we go to the store, do things cost more?
Yeah.
No? Administration says no. Zero. No inflation. It's at zero. So even people don't, that's right, it's perfect. Perfect world. So perfect world, so perfect that they were going to create 8 million new jobs. Then it became create or save 8 million jobs. Then, last week, Sweet Joe said what? Well, we're not going to be able to create those 8 million jobs. They're gone. And what did he blame it on? He didn't blame it on... Wait. This is a multiple choice. He didn't blame it on the runaway deficit. He didn't blame it on spending. He didn't blame it on the bailout of the banks. He didn't blame it on a $787 billion bailout stimulus plan. He blamed it on George Bush. I don't know where George Bush is right now.
Looking for a job.
He's out of a job also. The way back is very simple. It's hard, but it's simple. It's common sense. There are 3 things that I want to focus on. And that's what my campaign will focus on. Healthcare, protecting our national sovereignty, and our national debt, which is all tied into the economy, spending, deficits, and budgets. Now, just to give an introduction, as I jumped right in, I'm 42 years old. I work at St. Francis for the past 11 years. Can I cover this up? No offense?
Yes.
Okay. They work so hard. So How many of you, by show of hands, were pleased with the passage of the health care bill?
Not all at once.
Right. But did you read it? No one read it. 2,409 pages. And do you know that it could have been done in 5 pages? Why 2,409 pages? Well, you can put these little goodies in there, little perks, little pork here. The money that they spend, that's really your money. Now, they say, well, your taxes are not going to go up. Do you know how many hidden taxes are in the healthcare law now? Multiple taxes. You don't even know about most of them. Do you know that they're taxing tanning salons? Well, I'm saying, okay, so tanning salons, so on. I lie outside, my Norwegian blood accounts for my tan. But they're also taxing medical devices, pacemakers, ICDs, and they say, well, don't worry about it. Those big, bad companies, they're going to pick up the tab. People bash big oil. Well, why do they bash big oil? They say, well, because they're rich. Well, why are we so angry with people that create jobs? I mean, I don't know anyone here that says, when they grow up, I want to be poor. Does anyone say, I want to be poor? No one says, I want to be poor. Everyone says, I want a chance. I want to work hard. I mean, we all started out poor. It may not be your generation, it may be 3 generations back. I certainly didn't start. I grew up in Elmont, family of 5. Both my parents never completed high school, but yet, you know, we've moved ahead, all 5 of us. We're all very happy with our life. We love God, and we love our country. So there's no excuse when people say you can't make it in America. Even now you can make it in America. The problem is the government has taken on a different role now. Instead of the government just being there to protect you and setting up a framework for you to be successful, it wants to dictate everything you do. And that goes from the way you live, socially, culturally, and economically. So when Pelosi and her buddy Ackerman stand up there and they talk about CEOs and executive compensation, okay, maybe it was a good thing that everyone got out there and they started talking about it, bring some awareness to the fact that maybe people are being taken advantage of. It makes people understand that, you know, stockholders and shareholders should be the ultimate determination of who succeeds and who doesn't succeed based on how well the company does. But the one thing they fail to identify is the following. Who are the most powerful executives in our country?
Politicians.
Politicians, Congress, your elected Congress, congressional members, and senators. They really are. They control you socially, culturally, economically, and they think not about the consequences on you until 3 or 4 months before an election, and they act, they smile, they brighten their teeth. Let me see it, Mike, Brian. They brighten their teeth and they get a tan. And they walk around and they shake hands and they wear carnation on their lapel. And they say, look at me, I go to Bagel Boss every Sunday, I'm a great man. And he shakes hands, walks away, and probably curses you out.
Does.
Yeah, of course he does. He doesn't care. So how about this? How about this as a novel idea? The same way anyone that's in sales or any type of industry where they have to produce, it's based on productivity. How about this? You don't balance the budget. Let's make you pay for it.
What budget?
So think of it this way. You take the congressional salary, you take 10% of it, you put it in escrow. They're all hungry for money. I mean, they took that 4% raise, $4,700. They went wild for it. Take 10%, throw it in escrow. If they vote for a balanced budget, that money goes back to them. If they don't, give it to the American taxpayer. That's how you throw the leash on them. When the pack of dogs are running wild, you throw out that lasso. See, George Bush wasn't too good at it either. You know, he's from Texas, but we can do it. We vote him out, and they'll understand that if you don't produce, you don't gain. So that's my philosophy. Now, healthcare. This is what we're going to do. We are going to repeal and replace the current healthcare law. Now, did I make this phrase up myself? No, it's called Fox News. I watch Fox News. I like Fox News. But you know know, I like to watch Channel 7 because I like to see what the other people are saying. So you can figure out, look, well, that's what he's saying. Okay, that makes sense. Now we'll get him on why he's wrong. So don't just watch one thing. Look at the other things. Look at them and say, look at these guys. Look what they're saying. This makes no sense. And then you can talk to your friends. Let it be viral. If every one of you in this room spoke to 3 or 4 people each day, whether it be at the Stop and Shop, at the grocery store, or the train station that we went to today, you can convince people. You put the seed of doubt in them. Make them understand that Gary Ackerman is a very wealthy man. He does not care about you. He'll run around on plane trips with Pelosi, flying around the country and the world, and come back smiling. And who do you think paid for it? Really? Of course you paid for it. You paid for it, so you don't have that money. So if you don't have the money, what do? You have to cut back somewhere else. But they don't cut back because you're their reverse ATM machine. Everything you do, they put the credit card in, they take it out, and they borrow. And what happens? You have huge deficits. But we're going to touch on that in number 3. So the whole idea here was to what? When they started out with this health care bill, they want to improve the quality and access to health care. Did it really achieve that? Yes or no? No, it didn't achieve that. Did it control costs? Did it bend the curve? Like Joe said, bend the curve?
No.
Didn't bend the curve. Matter of fact, what did it do? It actually, exactly. You picked up another 1% in the deficit from it. So instead of them saving, they said, what was it, $1 trillion over 10 years? It's actually going to cost you $477 billion more over 10 years. And you know who really gets it? The senior citizens. These senior citizens, oh, of course. So let me think about this. When you get older, what happens? You come down with some maladies, you may become sick, and so you might use health care more. So what happens is they decide the best way to improve your health care for senior citizens is to cut $500 billion. That's $500 billion from your health care. And they say, well, we're going to take out of waste and corruption. Well, you know, they've done congressional budget office studies that show that there's not that much money there to wrench out of the system that's actually fraud and waste. Now, if you consider fraud and waste when a 90-year-old woman comes in who enjoys the holidays and they give her a pacemaker, I mean, is that waste? I don't think that's waste. I think that's something they paid into. They deserve it. It's not waste. It's been refused health care. He says, I've never gone to an ER where the nurse steps over the patient lying in the parking lot and says, well, sorry, can't help you. It's never happened before. Matter of fact, this ties into immigration, illegal immigration. You come here, you can get a bypass just by showing up at an ER. Oh, it's true. It's true. Yeah.
Welcome to America.
It's reality. It happens. It happens all the time. And they may give a fake address, and you can't refuse them, nor should we refuse people care. But we can't say now all of a sudden we're going to tax everyone, cut back on the senior citizen, work all their lives so that we can cover other people. The best way to do it is this. If you want people to be covered, why don't you just grow the economy? Grow the economy. When you grow the economy, there are more jobs. People have jobs, they get health insurance, and then they're covered. Why put that burden on the whole population? Let people work. What is more... What's more discouraging to a husband or a wife that come home to each other or they come to their children and say, oh honey, I was laid off, I don't have a job. But that could be the most terrifying thing to someone, to lose a job. So if you lose your job, you lose your health care, and now you go on public assistance. Well, okay, public assistance for a short amount of time. But if you really want to remedy this and you want to wipe out poverty, there's a very simple equation to wiping out poverty. People are poor, and you're generally always going to have about 4%, as he said. It's relative to other people. But if you want to wipe out poverty, what do? You cut taxes, you give people economic freedom. With that economic freedom, you generate jobs. What do jobs do? They drive down the unemployment rate. People have health care. Then they can spend. People start small businesses. They have to hire someone. So when they hire someone, that means less people are poor. Less people are on the poverty roll of public assistance. That means that everyone has to pay for it. And I don't know anyone that likes to lie down on their couch and watch TV and just feel like they're not contributing. Everybody wants to be out there working. If it makes you feel good, it's just common sense.